Hello and welcome. My name is Robert Lyon. This is the Day Trading Mentorship. School is in session. Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about is just understanding TradingView. So TradingView is the platform that I use to monitor, futures basically. And I mean, there's a lot of things you can do in here. You can change the color. You can change the ticker. Right. Usually what I do is I have a couple different setups. So again, this is NQ. The market's just open on a Sunday. Typically what I do is I'll have three things kind of popping up. Change your tickers over here. You can set up your watch list over here. And then what I do is whenever I'm trading, I'll trade on NinjaTrader, but I'll monitor the moves on TradingView. But you see how when you're using TradingView, you can basically, draw lines. You can track what certain tickers are doing. You can change the candlesticks from regular red and green. You can add certain indicators whenever you want. There's lots of indicators on here. Honestly, the only ones I tend to use are the VWAP and the kill zones, which tells me which markets are open. I think red is Asia, yellow is London. So I always think that's kind of good important information to know. US Open is the most volatile one. Sometimes whenever the Asian market kicks off, it's just good to know. And you can basically zone in, zone out. You can look at different tickers at different times. What's kind of cool about TradingView, you can do tons of different ones, but you can build little watch setups, right? So the main industries that I do, I usually trade Dow, crude oil, gold, and natural gas. But lately I've been trading the NQ. I just think the NQ has a lot of potential, and it's very interesting the way that it moves to be able to make some money doing it. Whatever they like to do with TradingView is you can actually set alerts for when certain things are going to happen, and then it'll send you a text or an email whenever they pass that, so you don't have to always be at your computer. You can basically set up your watch list for whichever ones you're going to be watching. This is natural gas. I really like natural gas. It just respects the levels, it's a very respectful, it just moves so smooth, right? So if you do like some lines, you'll start to be able to really get a good idea of what is natural gas doing, where it's at in the channel. So natural gas is amazing. But this is basically what I do with TradingView, right? I look at it, I monitor the different way certain things move. Again, whenever I'm focused on just trading the NQ, I'll typically come in here and I'll look at it on the hour. Right, so up here is the hour bar. Trajectory of the ticker is going up, right? So that's kind of like the main one. Actually, this is a Heikinashi, so I'm going to change this back to regular candles. But it still is up. So Heikinashi candles are basically a way to get away from the ADD, right, of looking at the red and green casino colors. But it's also got its own algorithm. And the way that you use this is, let's say you want to get in here. I should have stayed in if it was red all the way till it changed colors, right? So just instead of giving you regular candles, which is very like based on if it's going up or going down, the Heikinashi candles, they basically tell you, you can stay in for a little bit longer. It's just a different algorithm, a different way to look at it. So this is very cool, but this is how you use TradingView. You can draw lines. The other thing I like to use on TradingView is the Fibonacci retracements, right? That's the most recent big move. So let's see if we can get it right there. So you basically want to go from the lowest point to the highest point, and then you can start to see where we're at in the Fibonacci sequence. And usually when we break above a fib sequence or below, we have a breakout move, or you can get trapped in these channels. And it's usually kind of cool to be able to see how the Fibonacci sequence works. What else do I like to do inside of TradingView? We're in a really boring no volume mode, so like a lot of times I'll look at the volume. Anything less than a 1,000 or a 1.0 over here, like you just never want to trade because just nothing's happening, right? But I also like to track the volume down here. But that's basically what you do and how to use TradingView. So right now I'm trading on NinjaTrader. I'm viewing it on TradingView. I'm on the 1 minute charts. Maybe I'll go to the 5 minute. Yeah, look at that. If you look at the 5 minute, it's all red, which means it's probably going to continue going red until we see a 5 minute green candle. But there's just not a lot of volume. Very, very boring. When there's no volume, it's kind of risky because you'll just get chopped up. But that's how you use TradingView. So again, you can basically pick which ticker you're going to do. Let's say you want to look at gold. And then you can click on gold, natural gas, the Dow, whatever you need. The big thing is like whenever you're looking at this, you want to be looking at the month that it's in, because right now it's like NQ 2024, but they actually have M. So M is for the month, but they have these different indicators for the month. So you want to click on June. That's what we're at right now, and then you can tell which one you're doing right now over here. But yeah, change the ticker. You can change the time. Typically I'm trading on the 1 minute, and that's what I'm looking at the most. So that's how you do it, though. You basically are here. You can change whatever candles you're looking at. Again, the main indicator that I am using is just the VWAP. SSL channel 10 is these little green and red things, and they're kind of cool. But the way we're going to teach you how to use, TradingView, most of this stuff doesn't really matter. All that really matters, I like the VWAP, because as you can tell, just a lot of interesting times have happened where we hit the VWAP and we bounce off of it pretty hard. See, boom, boom. So then now I tend to just track, because magic happens at the VWAP sometimes, it seems like. Okay, just a couple more tips using TradingView. So again, right now I'm on the Heikinashi candles, and why I like this is because it tells me not to get out, right? If you are looking at it on regular candles, it's also red, but basically the Heikinashi candles, it just saves you from the ADD, right? So whenever the market is going in your direction and you're like, well, when should I get out? I like to switch to the Heikinashi candles, because it's just going to completely tell me. It's a different algorithm, basically, as opposed to it going up and down with red and green and red and green. This is just going to tell me when the tides shift, or if they shift, right, while I'm making a trade. The other thing that I really like about TradingView, and it's a big part of being a trader, I'm going to put my stop loss down here, is you can basically go back and forth, and you can test your hypotheses when you're doing TradingView. Let me show you what I mean real quick. So I want regular candles. You can essentially use this as a rewind tape to look at where you are. Man, this is turning into a great trade. Look at that. Wild. But you can basically rewind, and you can test your theories, right, of like when you should have got in and when you should have got out. So I always like to go back and think about what is my day typically. So typically I start at about 5:30, and then I'll come in here and I'll test my theories on. I'm just gonna let that run. So anyways, on what I would do in these situations, right? So typically I'll wake up at like 5. I'll drink my coffee and I'll do a couple trades at 5:30. So like when I see this giant green candle bar, I probably would buy in right here, right? And then you can basically say, okay, if I bought in right there, boom, I would have seen this bottom, and then I would have seen this green. I probably would have got in around here, and I would have gone up from 1789 up to 1751, right? And then it would have came down. So if I would have got in there, would have been a 20-point gain. So typically I'll wake up, I'll come to the markets around 5:30, just because like something happens. This is when the pre-market opens. We'll have this big move, pretty much dies out 5 minutes in, right? But then the next real open of the markets is at 6:30. So let's see what's happening into 6:30. Oh my goodness, 6:30 happens. Not a whole lot of action. Very boring Friday. But then I would probably have to wait for. Let's see if we have any setups. Okay, here's a good one. Get this real big green candlestick. And again, this is just for like basically testing your hypotheses and determining, okay, so here's the channel. We broke to the downside. We had this huge green candlestick. So we're probably just going to dip down a little bit, and then we should continue up. Pretend like we entered in a trade right there. Let's see what happens. Boom, we went up. Oh, totally smoked. It must have been a news day. So that's another thing. So now we have a big thing going on down. Let's see how far we go down here. Bam, all the way down. Let's see if we continue going down. And then we kind of basically found the bottom right here, right? But that was a big move to the downside. So like it doesn't happen too often. So we had this huge pump from here, right? This is basically, if you look at it, like here's literally where the big ass pump stopped, right? And then this became the floor now. So then we came all the way up here. So this is pretty much going to be, the top. And then we set the floor right here. Let's see what happens for the rest of the day. Well, we kind of touched our toes down here again. Let's see if we get above this now. We'll pause it. I'm going to keep pulling this back because we're still in this zone, right? We basically did this zone all throughout. Let's continue to see what happens. Because if we break above this, we're going to go way higher. But it seems like we keep getting close and then keep getting up. We're at the level again. Rejection, man. Look at this. We barely are able to break through. Each time we try and break through, we get down. Let's see if we can actually get a solid move up. Up. Come on. Staggering. Nothing. Now we're getting a little action. Here's where we are Friday at the end of day. At the end of the day, we finally broke through. So now we're finally getting some action. And then let's see what happens. Continues. Boom. Sunday, we have this big pump up. But now, like, this floor is real. So this is what we're looking for. If we can break, now we're right at that floor. Now you're all caught up on what's happened. But you see how, as soon as we broke through this, we had this big, huge red candlestick. Bam. Done. So now let's see what the markets are doing. Yes. But that's another way that you can really use TradingView for, is to essentially set up a hypothesis, back test it with TradingView. That's what I was trying to get at. And I think that's very, very powerful. That's probably the most valuable thing that you can do, is to come up with your hypothesis, back test it, and see how many times you can do this and actually make money, right? That's kind of what it's all about. All right, cool.